Hey guys, Ryan with Coda Evolution. Today I'm going to show you how to install a Taylor Freelance 41+1 kit on a Glock 33 round magazine, along with a couple of tips and tricks on how to get absolute reliability out of this setup. First thing you're going to want to do is uninstall the factory base pad and spring. Just use this punch like so, push it in there, and lever that forward, take off the base pad. Okay, now you're not going to use this thing or the factory base pad or the factory spring. Okay, and set that aside. Now, first thing you're going to do is address, this is one of those tips and tricks I was telling you, to address is this hard, camera picks it up here, this hard edge, this 90-degree edge here. Okay, we're going to want to chamfer that a little bit. There's a few ways you can do this. You can use a Dremel, you can use a file. Personally, the easiest way I have found is to use just a really sharp pocket knife. When you use a Dremel on this, it tends to, this type of plastic tends to melt or it tears up a little bit. You can get a cleaner cut with just a sharp pocket knife. So you're not really cutting here, you're scraping. So just get the knife on an angle here, okay, and just scrape back and forth at an angle. Okay, what we're doing here is we're just making that transition softer, because as the follower is feeding through here, okay, as the follower is feeding through there, you're going to, it can get hung up. Okay, so we're just trying to alleviate that. Okay, do the back, just soften it up. Doesn't take much. So when you're done here, if you're real particular about your work, I guess you could go back with a fine file or something, but I've never needed to. All right, so like so, just rounding that transition. Okay, nothing for the follower to get hung up on. Absolute necessary step, but if you're going to do it, this is what I'm talking about. Again, all we're trying to do here is make a smooth transition. So when that follower feeds up from the through the extension, there's nothing it can get caught on. Okay, next step would be to address a few areas on the follower itself. Hopefully the camera picks that up. The first thing that we got to look at is this little ledge here, and this is what activates your slide stop. You know, for PCC competition mag, slide lock is pretty pointless anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to round this over, because right now it's a kind of a harsh corner, and that's one other thing that can get caught on the bottom of the magazine tube as it makes the transition from the extension. So I do use a Dremel on this. This is a different plastic, it seems like. I use a cutter kind of, this is the type of cutter I like. It's the fluted type. You know, you don't need high speed here, but what we're going to do is we're going to round off that hard ledge there. Okay, so when you're done, it's going to be a nice rounded edge like so. Okay, And again, the whole idea here is just to soften that edge so there's less chance for it to get hung up on the bottom of the mag tube. So, you know, the chamfer here plus the round over here, it's, you know, it's overkill, but overkill always works. So this is what I've done to all my magazines, and I've experienced reliability with all of them since doing this. A couple other areas you can address is the front of the follower. Okay, sometimes it's a little rough. Okay, go ahead. What we're going to do there is you can use a Dremel for that too, or again, you know, a piece of sandpaper or a file. But all we have to do there is lightly bevel that, and on the back of the follower, on the back of the follower skirt too. So the areas would be here and here. And this is so when it's feeding down, when you're loading the magazine, okay, it feeds past the transition again when you're during loading. So just don't need to take a lot off here. Just any hard edge. And just the edge of it too. I've got this on a real slow speed, just to dress it. Yeah, that's feeling pretty good. All right, so now we're done with the follower. So moving on to installation. So the package for the 41+1 base pad and the spring. Okay, to install the follower on the spring, just like you do on a factory spring, just like so. Okay, and need an Allen wrench for this. Okay. And compress that big spring. Slide the base pad on. Use their locking system. And you're ready to rock. 41+1 magazine. Taylor Freelance extension, Glock factory 31 round magazine. All right, now it's time to test it out and make sure that all 41 rounds fit into the magazine. Some people experience trouble loading it all the way to capacity, like it gets hung up at 37 rounds or something like that. And part of that reason that people have that problem is that they didn't chamfer the bottom of the follower. So let's see if we did everything right here. I've got 41 rounds counted out. This ammunition was supplied to us by Peak Performance Ammunition. This is a 124 grain plated round nose, and it's loaded to minor power factor, so that's pretty cool. So what we'll do here is we'll start loading. I'm using a Lula, makes it a lot easier. And 41, just like so. So all 41 rounds fit into the magazine. This setup has been very reliable for me. Just the nature of that long of a spring, until that spring gets broken in, it can be a little difficult to load those last few rounds, and that's why I suggest using a Lula loader. This Taylor Freelance 41+1 extension is the Black Delrin. The Black Delrin model. It's also available made out of aluminum, and you can get it in anodized and other fancy colors like blue and red, and I think they make a silver. But they all work great. The spring life seems to be really good on them. I've been very happy with them. So if you follow all of those steps, you should have good reliability with the Taylor Freelance 41+1 extension. If you have any questions or comments, please let us know. You can leave them on our Facebook page, the Coda Evolution Facebook page, and hope to see you guys on the range. Good luck.